this, but they have no personality.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Gen E, Generation Empowered. Here I am here as your host, Sevinç Nadierova, and I can tell you how excited I am to share this journey with you all. So, Generation Empowered. It is a place where young voices are heard and where there's a discussion of big thinking, stories told, and successful inspirational guests are invited. And as our first episode and our guest, I choose none other than Asalkhon Sharipova, who has studied abroad, who has won internship, and who has won exchange programs more than 3 countries, including India, US, Turkey, and so much more. Then she's a mentor who teaches students to have exchange programs and to improve their speaking and IELTS as well. And then she has been TEDx speaker. And she's a real definition of inspiration and resilience. So welcome, Asalkhon. So how are you?
Well, thank you so much for inviting. It's quite an honor to be the first guest in such an amazing initiative. We will do our best to, once again, thumbs up and support this project, because I myself got inspired by hearing the story of how you started this project, how the project was for you. So it's very exciting to be here.
So yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Actually, it's an honor to host you and to have you as our first speaker. Yeah, and today we are discussing the topic of how to win international programs and how actually it can change the way you think and the way you live and the way you see the world, right? So then, shall we start?
Absolutely. So what should I start with?
Well, so I have the first question. Well, I asked like our audience what kind of question we would give, and they come up with questions, and I also have questions that could be beneficial for our listeners. So you have been abroad, right? And you know how to apply international programs, which we think may be impossible, but or hard to achieve, right? So yeah. Well, our first question is, what is the challenges of applying for international programs and how challenges of winning it? Because there are like immense competition going on to win it, right? To win fully funded programs. So yeah.
Well, one thing that I really want to set out clear is that there is no competition as such, because the biggest mistake that people do when applying, they show no personality. So when you apply, you have to show that you have a personality to share. What everyone does, they apply just to fulfill the document. So they say, oh, I am amazing, I have done this, but they have no personality. They have no sense of identity, like who I am. Am I a social manager? Am I an SMM? Am I a project manager? Am I, I don't know, like a teacher? You have to pick up the personality that you have to show. Oh, this is who I am, and this is what I've done. I want to have this program because I think that what I've done can be turned into something very big and something immense. So one thing that people do not understand about grant winning is that grant winning is selling yourself. You're selling your idea of who you are to the people. So you sell that and you promise, you say, oh, if you get me, if you accept me, this is something that I will do in return. Why? Because I am that type of person. So this is what, in essence, the grant winning is. And that's how, from the journey of failing, I, of course, myself failed in some of the applications that I've had. First time to United States, I couldn't go to United States. It was the United program. But the second time, I understood the mistakes that I've did. So the mistake that I personally did was the application itself. I was just filling the application instead of saying who I am as a person. And when I was applying to SUSI, I did the reverse. I said, what kind of personality do I have? What kind of things did I do? And what could I bring to the SUSI program? And that's how I won the SUSI, which is one of the biggest programs out there alongside UGRAT and Flex. So yeah, so basically that's the essence that a lot of people misunderstand about the grants. That the grant is not about saying how good you are, not saying how amazing the program is, but really moving on to your personality. What kind of personality do you have? Social personality, professional personality, and how you open that up with the achievements that you had and with the results that you got. So that's the difference between the two.
That's amazing. Actually, you cleared off every misunderstanding we have about international programs, because most of the people may think that there is competition going on or it's hard to do so, but it's not hard to do so. As the saying goes, like every success story comes after failure. You didn't stop after failure, right? And it's not just about filling out what you did or what you have. It's also about showing personalities, who you are as a person, and what you did and why you wanted to pursue it, and what can you bring after that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the key is never stopping and showing the like right personality and your actual goal, right? So that's really inspiring actually, and we'll move on to the next question. I mean, moving abroad and traveling and studying abroad can be like life changing, and you have done all of that. And what is the one moment that changes as the way you view the world? There must be a moment
Yeah.
which changed like your view.
I would say it was 5 a.m. in Washington, D.C. when I went for the run. So before, I would have been dreaming about this moment for so long. I have been imagining how I will be in the United States. I would be running and having fun in and of itself. And, as someone who was raised in Khorazm, Urgench, I lived in a small city, in a beautiful village. We had everything we could imagine, but not a single person was capable of imagining the American lifestyle, the American living, the big life of how it is to go to the Trader Joe's, going for the run, and then grabbing something from the Chipotle, right? So this is the moment that really opened my eyes. It was 5 a.m. in the morning. I was waking up. It was my second day in Washington, D.C. I woke up. I wore my beautiful shorts. It was the two-piece. I started running, and then I noticed so many Americans. Everyone was smiling. Everyone was so happy. They were so well dressed with the Rolex on. Some had Whoppers, like the new type of watch. So they were running, and I looked at them, and they're like, "Hey, how are you? How do you feel?" And I felt such, I would say, relief, because I never thought that I actually deserved that. I never thought that a person as good as he was, it's pretty evident that he was rich, was just referring to me and asking how I am. I know that it's something that they do on the daily basis, but that's when I realized, oh my God, I exist. I'm a human being. Even if I live in Uzbekistan, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm worse. It doesn't necessarily mean that I should be treated less fairly than these amazing Americans are, because they treated me in the equal way that they are. A rich person once again, with the Rolex on, with a car, beautiful Porsche, would treat me in that way. So that was the moment when I realized I deserve everything in this world. It doesn't matter what my background is. What matters is what I could do next. What kind of thoughts do I have, and how do I actually put it into the actions? So that was the transformative moment that I had, and I still put it as my motivation in the daily actions that I do.
Wow, that's really all inspiring, because as you said, we tend to like we tend to like shelter ourselves based on our background, or thinking that we are not good enough or we are not like better than them. So yes, the atmosphere of American USA is actually great. Listening to like your story, I was inspired, and it's really great. I got inspiration from you to do better, to go there, because I actually have the habit of like sheltering myself whenever I feel uncomfortable. and start to like close off instead of open up. And yes, the way they treated and was actually something a human, a real human could do as humanly as they can, right? That was really inspiring, girl. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Do you also want to go to America?
Yes, I really do want to go America, and I want to study abroad actually. And but we do have stereotypes, so they didn't let me. I actually won the grant, and my parents let me, but there were others involved, so the process failed. But I didn't stop. I'm doing my best to won grants or to have exchange program like you do. So I will do my best. After like losing my uh, permission from my parents, I actually lose my motivations and I stopped to follow like the channels on Telegram or Instagram which tells how to win grants. Actually, I won the grant to Malaysia from the channel Grant Ooze, but then I stopped. I just started following the ones who won. But yeah, you sparked up my fire again. Yeah, thank you.
It's very inspiring to see that you are continuing despite the fact that like your parents or the people outside there, they may put a restriction. I think that is something that a lot of girls right now they experience. They have so much of fire, they have so much of motivation, but there's the backup thought: what if my parents do not let me? What if they say no? I think that the way that you actually tackled it, the way that you are approaching it, you're saying, well, it doesn't matter what they say, I will get their permission because it's your life, it's your achievement, you want to live in that way. And of course, our parents will understand. Once you win the grant, once it's a fully funded scholarship, once you go to abroad, you have the opportunity, your parents will see the spark in your eyes. And even if right now they are saying no, even if they are putting restrictions, understand every parent want their child to succeed. They want them to be happy. So there's no way that I would say after winning the grant, after getting what you want, after showing that you want it, once they see your crying, your eyes, they're just sparkly. I would say not a single parent would say no unless they are as cruel as, like as some may be. So yeah, I think this is the obstacle that a lot of girls face. And we have to remind girls that we too undergo that, but we try our best to persuade our parents. So what you said, like before the interview, I asked the question, how do you actually, like tackle this? So you said that you don't say first and then you get the result, right?
Yes, I will let the like results speak instead of like do all the talking because I am kind of person who tend to keep silent of my goals, my dreams till they are like come into reality because whenever I talk to them they may have like doubts or there will be like other people who doesn't support you. So till it's done, till the results are done, I tend to keep it quiet. And as you said, we have stereotypes, let's say stereotypes in Uzbekistan, and girls may limit themselves based on that, but we don't have to, right? We don't have to. We are the real example of the ones who break out of the stereotypes.
You too. Yeah.
I am.
Yes, you are. I mean, like not saying and just starting out a whole project, organizing all of these things, just being here itself, showing you as a female that we females, we can do everything what we want, right? The biggest thing is that we have to realize one thing: we do not need to ask for permission from anyone. Yes, formally you should ask. It's culture, it's your parents, but you don't need to. They don't need to know. It's your life. So the best thing that you did, and I think a lot of girls do right now, they do not say until the results speak. You do not need to ask to start. Start without asking. Again, you're not doing a bad thing, you're improving your life. So the biggest thing to improve your life is to do in silence. Because one thing that I realized is that no one will understand me. No one will understand my ideas. Yeah, the way that I see my idea is so different to the way that others see. They may not understand my vision because it's my vision. It was supposed to be in my brain, right? God sent it to me to realize. And of course, no one will understand you. They shouldn't. It's not their responsibility to support you. Even if it's your parents, you're already a grown up. No one has to support you. It's not their responsibility. Your responsibility is to care for your life. Their responsibility is to care for their lives. So just get up, understand, no one needs to support you. Just go, do, and let the results speak. So you're doing an amazing job in that.
Thank you, thank you. You actually said the right thing. It's up to us how to build our life. We don't have to make it based on others' opinion or others' approval or others' support, because we are the one living it. And the funny thing is that my parents does know I'm starting a project, but they don't know it's a podcast, because as you are, I am from the region of Uzbekistan. I was just region girl. Then we do back there we do have restrictions for girls to start on social media or to start their own journey. So instead of being like rumor about my what relatives about my around my relatives, I kept silent, and I'm not saying to them till my podcast gets released. So they didn't know. I just said to them that I'm starting my podcast, and then they will know, because they may think that or they may criticize me. So it may affect one's mood, but it doesn't. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't anymore, because I have seen how they affected, and I do not let them to affect me anymore, because I don't know why it is, but I think I have become grown up already. And as you said before, God sends a dream and the idea to us to pursue, not to ask for others' approval or decision. And we have to pursue it no matter what. Yeah, that's why
Absolutely.
I am starting it from scratch.
Yeah.
And for the listeners, for especially girls, not stop on your dreams, no matter what others can or what others say, because it's your dream, it is your life to build. You do have two choices: to pursue it and to make your parents and yourself proud, or to stop it, to quit it, and to regret it after all. But believe me, the regret of the cost of regret can be highly painful. Yeah, highly painful. After quitting my internship, my grant, I actually regret it, but it was a period of transformation. I had days where I stayed silent, and where I stayed broken for weeks. Then I realized that I have the chance to build my life. I have every opportunity. I have everything it takes to get there. One step at a time, one step at a time. Even if it's just a small step, it will bounce up, and it can take us to where we want to be. I actually am stumbling on my words, because it's my first project, and I'm so happy to sit with you here. So yeah.
Absolutely, I agree on the idea that you achieve the dream life one step at a time. Yeah, you cannot become a big, very beautiful person in just one day. But what you can do is change one habit at a time, right? Do something small, small, small that leads to something bigger. For example, if we are right now in the field of journalism, you imagine yourself working in New York, let's say, for a big corporate company, making the podcast with the corporate people, understanding the insiding of the institution, for example, right? Okay, so you imagine that. Then it means you have to slowly do that. So do it first in Uzbekistan. Do a podcast series with the people that you like. Understand the art of journalism, understand the art of question giving, reasoning. So your way of reasoning, so you're following up what I'm saying, is incredible for someone who is, following up the field of journalism. So you're slowly building up that dream lifestyle, the ant lifestyle that you imagine in the brain. What you imagine in the brain, that big thing that you have, it does not happen all of a sudden. It happens when you slowly do it. You practice it. You practice it in your town, you practice it in your city, in your country, and then further on, abroad. So try something that is similar to your dream lifestyle. You have a dream lifestyle, you imagine yourself living in a certain way, in a certain country, at a certain position. So practice that is something similar to that, that is accessible to you right now. You have access to that. You have access to a smaller way. Maybe it can be an internship at a TV program, right? Start from that. It is already a step to your lifestyle. You're already leading that lifestyle for journalism, right? So if you want to be a journalist, then embrace the lifestyle of a journalist. It doesn't necessarily need to be in New York right away. It doesn't work that way. To be able to get the dream lifestyle, first you embrace that title. You become a journalist. It can be small, as in your town. Then you go up to the capital city. Then you go up to big TV channels. Then you start your own podcast series. Then you go abroad to do it within university. And then you embrace that thing. So it's a one small step at a time. Do it. You do not need to ask for approval for anyone's opinion. Life is yours. Why ask, right? Why ask?
Yes, why ask? Just let the results speak. As you said, it's one step at a time, and imagination. So imagine is the ideas, the dreams that is put to our brain that we have is there for a reason. And if we pursue it, we manifest it, right? We manifest it. And yeah, it starts like small step at a time. Yeah, I just started like my own vlogs, and I started to have an internship on TV programs, and I stepped up in one of the big channels, and now I'm starting my own podcast. Thank you. And then it will bounce up because it's not as magical as we think. We do not like bounce up, or we do not level up immediately.
Yeah.
There may be probably failure, or there may be bad days where we think we are not doing enough, but we are. Even if we think, or even if we decide to take one action at a time, it is what we need to do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, you have been abroad, and what do you think? I mean, what is your advice? Like, what is your advice, and what would you say to those who are listening and who are watching us with the ambition of studying abroad, or being an exchange, or having like the dream like they want? What is the minimal requirement to have the exchange program? Minimal requirement. What do they need to have on their application?
Yeah, absolutely. So, to start your grant winning journey, as big as it sounds, there are steps of actually doing it. So, first, you start with international conferences. So, try to apply to international conferences to visa-free countries. Dubai, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Georgia. Those are easiest to win and easiest to go to. And most of the time, like 70% of the time, you can get partially funded seat. So that means you get free place to stay, food, certificates, the program itself, and the only thing you have to pay is for tickets. So you pay for the tickets to go to Turkey, go to Azerbaijan. It's not that much. 3 million, 3,500,000, 4 million. Centrum Air, it's not sponsored. Centrum Air is a good one, right? The cheapest airline actually to consider. So start with the first step of going abroad, because the biggest thing that stops you from winning exchange is that you have this brain limitation that you cannot see yourself abroad. You cannot really imagine yourself going abroad. And that's the biggest limitation. Before going to United States, I have been to India. It was my first country. And going to India was the first time my brain experienced that shift. I started imagining that I am abroad. I started imagining in real life, man, I am in another country. I am not in Uzbekistan. My brain just exploded. I am seeing Indian people. I'm seeing different people from other countries. There were delegations. And I was speaking with them. And my brain just, life is so big. I realized life is so big. It turns out. And I am experiencing that. So that was the brain shift. So that's why I'm always advising my students and everyone who watches me, start with something that is closest to you right now. The fastest and the closest. International conferences. Okay, you may spend some money for the ticket, like 3-4 million, but remember, this is the investment into yourself. This one first experience abroad can open up your brain to access more, to allow more. Because the biggest problem is not that you are not successful enough. It's not that you cannot write an essay. The biggest problem is that you cannot allow your brain to feel that you deserve it. There is still uncertainty. You still feel scared. You don't know whether you can do it. You're just risking. And of course, you will not get accepted, because the people who get accepted for the grant are the people who can fully imagine themselves that they are doing it. Confident people who know that they are there and they can give something to the program. Those are the ones that win the exchanges. So that's why I'm saying you, let's get rid of the limitation. Let's get first country in, like experience that shift in the country, be outside of Uzbekistan. It can be in Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, it doesn't matter. The closest option. Go for there within 3-4 months right now, and then move up to the preparation. So the preparation for exchange programs is 3 steps. First of all, you have to know the art of essay writing, because personal statement, it's very important. This is something that you have to be very good at. In the personal statement, we do not say, I am this, I am that, I am this. We say, well, leadership is my passion. X is my passion. This is what I've did, and this is what I will bring out of the program. The program can get me the skills to improve myself in that field. So in personal statement itself, we have the main motivation. So this is what I know, this is the thing that I'm good at, and this is what I've did before connected with my passion, and this is what I will bring to you. So you say, this is my passion, and this is what I will bring to you, right? And then the portfolio, we have to develop portfolio. Portfolio, it's basically a document that compiles your past experience, past volunteer experience, past certificates, event experience. It's called social activity experience. And of course, like the whole internship, volunteering stuff that you had. Well, there is a whole art behind it. And it's not something that I can teach in 1 minute. So we usually have lessons at ICR, so our course, where we break it down to how to design the portfolio separately. So there are different types of portfolios, of course, different types of essays. And to have that, just remember, first, develop it. Personal statement, portfolio, CV are the 3 things that you must have. For the portfolio, I really suggest to have social activity, go to events, attend events, get certificates, get photos that you can use for portfolio, have 1 volunteering experience. So 1 volunteering experience for a program. It can be a leadership program. It can be a small 1-week program. It can be a camp, a bread camp, eco camp, whatever the camp is, and 1 experience as an internship. So get an internship at 1 organization. So those are the 3 things I really suggest having. Social activity, second thing, internship, and volunteering experience at a program.
So that was really inspiring to hear, and you made it all clear. And yeah, if you could go back to the time when you were 18, and if you could to speak to that girl, what would you to say? I mean, what would you have to say to her?
So on the concluding point of this interview, once again, it has been amazing, the whole discussion that we had on how we get restricted as females, what we can do, how we can still unleash our potentials despite the hurdles. And this is something that I would have reminded to my 18-year-old self. If I was 18, I would have said, please, Asal, do not listen to others. Yes, they want to protect you. Yes, it may be your parents. Yes, it's your relatives. But just go for it. It's your life. You should go and try something for yourself. I would have said to her not to be scared, not to listen to anyone, and just try. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. You just have to take the action. Go for it, because in years and years and years, you will see the results that you would have never thought of. This is something that I would have reminded myself of, because I always thought when I was 18 that it's very important. What I'm doing is serious, it's important, it's the end of the world. And only now do I realize it's just an experience. You try, you get it, you experience it, and then you move on. So it's not the end of the world. So that's why don't be scared, go and try. And as we had a beautiful session, as it is, even if there are some hurdles in life, what we have to do is still just do it. Take a step at a time, move forward, and get closer to that dream reality that you're imagining. So this is something that we discussed with you today. It was very inspiring to listen to your background, and of course, to have this realizations that we women, we deserve so much more. So we have to somehow fight for ourselves and fight for our dreams.
Yes, it's up to us how to make our life like how to shape our life. And it was really great podcast and really great talk with you. And yeah, everyone listening to us, watching us can benefit from it. So thank you so much for coming. But last but not least, we do have a like what we do have tradition of one question which we give at the end, and it is that what advice you have received? What is the best advice that you have received so far, and what advice would you give to younger generation?
I would say it is something that I got from my American host family. So I stayed with them, and they were quite religious, but I didn't much really pay attention to that. But one idea that they brought to me is that we come to this life to bring something good with us. You do not just live, you do not just achieve for yourself, but we are supposed to create goodness for us and for others. And that's what the humankind is for. Humankind is bringing people together, doing one small good thing that can improve the lives of others. So this is the thing that I always keep in mind whenever I do launch projects, do launch fully funded trips. One thing that I am motivated by is what my host parents have said. If you're living this life, then do something good for it. You were supposed to do something good, and that's the purpose that you have in life. So this is the idea that I got that still inspires me up to this day.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing everything and every experience you have. Having a talk with you actually changed the way I see the world. And I'm gonna continue where I stopped to like about. I'm gonna chase the dream of mine, which is about studying abroad. Even if they do not let me, I will find a way. So
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And today with us, it was Gen A with Asalkhon Sharipova. And see you soon. Do not forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and soon on Telegram in order not to miss any episodes, future episodes and background stays. So guys, see you soon. Thank you for
See you.
coming.
Thank you so much for inviting.